Good evening. Welcome to another Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I am Benjamin, and I have had a wonderful weekend, although I have to admit my gardening is suffering because of the lovely heat one day and then the freezing cold weathers the next. But what isn't suffering is the time I get to spend with my banknotes, and I put together a collection of big cats on banknotes. I surprise even myself as I have a representation of the 5 living members of the genus Panthera to share with you on these notes tonight. I have some tiger notes, some lion notes, some jaguar notes, some leopard notes, and even a snow leopard note. So I'm very excited to share this with you. I hope that you guys will click on subscribe and that you will share my channel. I have a hope to continue to build my subscribers and to provide you guys with interesting content wrapped around, based around my collection of banknotes. Let's get started with these notes that depict the big cats. The first note I have to show you is from Nepal, and it is a 500 rupee that shows a pair of tigers, a pair of thirsty tigers. And I'm glad that I'm not there to be the object of the one's attention. The next note I have is also a tiger note, but a tiger note from Vietnam. Much less friendly tiger. Kind of reminds me of Shere Khan from the Mowgli stories. I have another Nepalese 500 rupees that shows a single tiger on the back of that note. Moving to the neighbor of Nepal, we have a lovely tiger on an Indian 2 rupees. The next note I have to show you is from Nepal as well, and it's the only example I have of a snow leopard, mainly because it may be the only example of a snow leopard available on a banknote. I'm not completely clear on that. Somebody might have more information than I do, but it's a note that I love anyway. Beautiful note. We're following the tigers and the snow leopard with a regular leopard. This one is also from Nepal, and it is a 2 rupees. These notes have always appealed to me because of their beauty. I love their beauty. Here's a more natural. I was a little concerned about this one. I at first thought it might be a cheetah, but whenever I went to my banknote resources, the banknote book, and the Krause catalog, they were pretty clear that this is a leopard. So I will let it stand that it's a leopard, but it fits in with the range, of the sub-Saharan African. So if you have evidence that this isn't a leopard, by all means let me know, because if it's a cheetah, I can live with that as well. I don't have any problem with it being a cheetah. We're going to move on to another cheetah-looking animal, but it is actually the fearsome jaguar. Don't be tricked by that beautiful face. Cats and kittens, that is a deadly beast. It's a beautiful beast, and I think it's the jaguar that is also the panther and is also the puma and is also the mountain lion of North America. And we certainly here in Oklahoma have problems with mountain lions just entering people's backyards and killing pets off of porches. These are not animals to take lightly. Here's another jaguar on the back of a Venezuelan banknote. Statuesque beast. The next banknote shows a jaguar as well, but it's a little bit more of a stylized interpretation of a jaguar on the back of a Bolivian banknote. Stylized, and underneath a visage of a bird that is very stylized as well. This was one of my first banknotes that I ever owned as a banknote collector. I think I had received a package of 5 of these for Christmas from somebody, and they were all Bolivian notes, and they were very cheap, and I was very unimpressed, but I did keep them for a while, and it took me probably 10 or 15 years before I thought I might be able to do something more with these notes. And I always liked this note because of the jaguar on it, although it has an almost weird human face, if you ask me. Moving to the next group of big cats, we have a lion from South Africa. And we have the head of the magnificent beast looking at us from the right of the note, and a family getting a drink at a watering hole. There is a variety of this note, interestingly enough, that has the edges of the water red, looking like they're lapping up blood. That's a variety I hope to get one of these days, but it's not one that I have now. The next note is I don't know if you call it a banknote or if it's just a fantasy note, but it is from Somaliland, and it is 1,000 shillings, and we have a pretty amazing lion there on the front of the note, or on the back of the note. And on the front of the note, we have a more sedate lion. There you go. Still not a beast I would want to see or meet on foot. I am afraid that I am not like David from the Old Testament. I don't play a harp. I don't know how to use a slingshot, and I do not want to have to kill a lion with my bare hands. Let's move on to the South Sudanese banknote. 100 pound. We have a lovely lion relaxing in front of some natural air conditioning in the form of a waterfall. Majestic beast all around. Let's move down to Tanzania. Here's another interpretation of a magnificent lion. I've had some bad hair days where I might give this lion a run for his money, but little trim and a little hair gel, and I'm much more managed right now. This is a 2,000 shilingi banknote, and I have an additional 2,000 shilingi banknote from a different series there, showing the lion's head, and nope, just the lion's head. I thought there might be more on the back, but there isn't. From the neighboring country of Uganda, I have a lioness and cub at a watering hole on the back of a 20 shilingi note, with several other big animals. You might see this note again on the zebra topic if I ever do one, or animals with horns, or birds with freaky large beaks, apparently. But it's a nice picture of a lioness and a cub. And the final note I have to show you is from the Zambia. It's a 5 kwacha, and it shows the head of a lion on the left-hand side of the note, too. Beautiful, beautiful, majestic creatures, which I'm quite satisfied to go to the zoo to see, and then to come home where I don't have to see them anymore. Although, for some weird reason in my life, the worst nightmare I've ever had in my life has always involved me looking out the kitchen window of my house and seeing a big cat lounging in the shade of my garden. And I don't know why I have that dream, but it still occasionally visits me. And I remember a few years ago, Moore had one of the worst tornadoes, and it was rumored that a big cat rescue farm somewhere in the local city, not Joe Exotic's zoo by any means, but a local tiger rescue had been hit, and that there were actually tigers loose. So that's as close as my nightmare has come to happening in real life, and hopefully that's as close as it ever will. Regardless of my night terrors, these notes are not expensive, and they have been very challenging and fun to gather together from the four corners of the planet. None of them are super expensive, and you can probably, with very little effort, go to a single dealer and with $20 leave with 7 or 8 of these notes, maybe even 10 or 11. There are literally hundreds of these notes, and if you expanded into animals that were supporters on coats of arms, probably thousands of notes that would have big cats on them. I've shown you 17 tonight. There are many more that could be added. Thank you for your time. Please comment, share, cuss, discuss with me big cats on banknotes. I am Benjamin Swaggerty. I'm sorry, I am Benjamin. Forget that I said Swaggerty. This has been Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Have a jewel of a day.